Welcome to this press conference with the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Gahr Støre, and the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Corina Machado. First, we will open up for two short introductions, and then we will open up for questions. So please, Prime Minister.
Well, first I'd like to express a very warm welcome on behalf of the government of Norway, and may I say on behalf of all Norwegians, to this year's Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Corina Machado. To see you safe and sound at last. We waited for you, and I told you today that that Nobel ceremony was not without you. You had a tremendous presence in that hall, not only the picture, but also the voice of your daughter with reading your message. And the dinner at the hotel yesterday, where we all kind of were counting down to see you arriving in Oslo, was an emotional moment, and I think it brought your message, your story, and your struggle for democracy very close to the Norwegian public. And that was a strong moment, but all the better to see you here, standing today. You are heartily welcome. The Nobel Committee makes its choice on every year's prize, based on interpreting the will of Alfred Nobel. And I think this year's prize has a special significance by the very strong emphasis of the link between a democracy that works as a democracy and the way to freedom and peace. Not only between nations, but in nation. So in Venezuela, we have a situation where authoritarian regime is waging war on its people, with millions of refugees and injustice. And there cannot be peace until democracy and elections are respected. So that is the message that we are receiving of great importance for Venezuela, but also a message that has universal bearing. And this is all about fighting for fundamental human rights at a time when democracy is under threat. There are so many countries where this is relevant today. Unfortunately, there are fewer democracies, more authoritarian regimes. That is the trend. So I would like simply to salute you, Madam Laureate, for your struggle. It has cost you a lot. It costs you and your family and your people a lot. And I think what we heard from your daughter yesterday and from your family and the people who came here, thinking about those who are today in jail, those who suffered, those who have aspirations for democracy, that is a strong message of these Nobel laureate days in Oslo. But Maria, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, and thank you all. And I want to speak to the Norwegian people, to European people, to the Venezuelan people. I would say to all citizens of the world in this hour, and assure you that I am very hopeful Venezuela will be free, and we will turn a country into a beacon of hope, an opportunity of democracy, and we will welcome not only the Venezuelans that have been forced to flee, but citizens from all over the world that will find a refuge, as Venezuela used to be decades ago. And as I mentioned, well, Corina read yesterday, I believe that our experience in Venezuela conveys to the world a testimony that certainly in order to have peace, you require democracy. Democracy is the system that enables peace in a society. But you cannot have democracy without freedom. And freedom is an individual decision, a rational decision. And it's the sum of these individual conscious decisions that bring that collective ethos that creates the force, the strength, and the courage to fight for freedom, to defend it when you got it. And that courage comes from the things that truly matter in your life, the things that you love. And when you feel that those things are most in danger, then the courage increases. That's why I am convinced that peace ultimately is an act of love. And that's what brought me here. The love of millions of Venezuelans for our country, for freedom, and for our children. And I believe there's no other generation in the history of Venezuela that loves more freedom, our family, and our soul, our territory, the possibility of actually being in your